Hi, this is Nell with Joyous Garden, and today I'm going to tell you all about Bougainvillea. This is my Bougainvillea glabra, which is a very big bougainvillea. This one gets about 25 to 30 feet tall. Some people have a love-hate relationship with bougainvillea, I think because you see them a lot here in Southern California. Also, they have thorns on them, but I happen to like them very much, so that's why I'm going to tell you about them. And this is a plant that needs sun. It loves full sun. It needs sun for color. I also have one that's in part shade, and it flowers at the ends and sort of intermittently. It doesn't flower nearly as much or put out nearly as much color as this one. It happens to be February 3rd. It's the day after the Super Bowl. And this one still has a lot of color because our January was very warm this year. It can be really cold in January, and this will lose like half its foliage. And it doesn't have any color again until like mid-February, end of February, when it starts to warm up again. But this one is still like loaded with color. So it needs sun, and besides sun, it also needs the warmth. It likes to have the warmth to bloom and to put out a lot of this color. It's found in many different forms. It can be a vine, it can be on an arbor, and actually you can grow it, you can train it up to an arbor against a fence. The lower ones you can use as shrubs. You can prune them as shrubs, although I don't think it's really a good shrub plant because it does have a lot of pruning, and bougainvillea flowers on the new growth, so you're constantly cutting off the flowering. And I think the color is the main draw of this plant. It's also sold in ground cover form, and it's sold in hanging baskets. I've seen it that way, so it does well in containers too. And mine I have not watered for probably about 9 or 10 months now, because we just haven't had any rain. We had like half an hour or an hour of rain yesterday. That was it for the whole year, so I haven't supplementally watered it at all, and it's putting out a lot of color. And if you give it too much water, it's going to send out a lot of like green and just green growth. It'll just shoot up. It's kind of the sucker growth. You'll see it at the base of the plant when we zoom in on that. So I hold back on the water because I want it to have more color and less of that crazy green growth. It's also less for me to prune too. But when you are establishing one, you do want to give it regular water, but you don't want to keep it soaking wet because it doesn't like to be really wet. It likes to drain really well also. And a main thing for you to know when you're planting a bougainvillea is to keep it in its grow pot, and you just want to put slits in the grow pot, because even though it's a really tough plant, it has thorns, it grows by the sea, it grows up in the hills, it can take the wind. It's a big baby when it comes to being planted, so you don't want to disturb the root system. And that's why they're really hard to transplant. Also, they don't transplant too well because they don't like to be disturbed once they've been established. So be sure to keep that in mind. And when you plant it, just plant it with a little compost or worm castings. That's what I use for all my plants anyway. I really don't give this one anything supplemental just because it's in the driveway. It doesn't have a really big hole to put any compost in, so, and as you can see, it is doing great. And I give it one good big prune in the winter to take it back because I don't want it to take over the driveway and the garage. And then every other month I will give it a supplementally. I will supplementally prune it here just to keep it in shape. And also, as I said, it blooms on the new wood. So if you constantly, on the new growth, so if you constantly pinch it, it's going to pop the color out more because there'll be more new growth. And this is actually the flower, this white part here. And this is actually a bract, which is just a colored leaf, which gives you all the right color with this plant. And it comes in many different colors too. So you can find a color that suits you.